So I'm a little late to the party with this video from Critical Drinker, or the Critical Gamer. Wait, this is the Critical Drinker though, right? I never realized does he have two different channels? I think he does. I just now realized.
You know,
Hold on, welcome to my brand new channel. Oh, I didn't even realize the Critical Gamer and the Critical Drinker.
you know,
Nice, way to maximize on his brand. But what I will say is I got this recommended to me a long time ago from someone, so I'm covering it now because I wanted to play Dragon Age Veilguard. Well, I should say Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Yeah. So without further ado, let's see what he has to say about it. And as always, guys, if you got any videos to send me, leave them down below. I have my email now that you can send business inquiries to, or reaction requests, like a dedicated email instead of my normal ones. And I also I started a spreadsheet now, so I'm keeping track of them if I catch them in the comments and la-di-da-di-da. But I'm getting stuff in order, so we're good on this side. But remember to always be your authentic self. Remember to love yourself. Remember to spread that love. And let's hop in the video and see what the Critical Gamer has to say about the state of Dragon Age. And as always, the Critical Gamer, if you want me to take down my video, I do not mind. Let's hop in. Alrighty, here we go.
you know, like a lot
My headphones aren't plugged in.
of people, I was pretty excited at the prospect of a new Dragon Age game. I mean, I'd played Inquisition back in the day, and while it wasn't the deepest or most sophisticated RPG ever, it was still a fun game with some decent characters, a detailed world, and a rewarding combat system that kept me reliably amused for a few weeks.
I know Dragon Age fans are gonna hate me for this. Not hate me, but I personally really did like Inquisition. I went back and played the other games recently, not too recent, not too recent, but I recently went back and played them, and I don't know, maybe there is just a bias when it comes to the game you enjoy when it comes to a series or something because it's the thing you started with. But I don't know, I just personally really liked Inquisition. It had everything that's fit my needs at least. So again, it just comes back to each their own. But I remember certain people saying, I think on some of my videos, that when I was reacting to what was coming with Veilguard, that it hasn't been high fantasy anymore. And see, and this is why I don't like getting into debates about titles or stuff. Well, I don't debate anybody anyways, really. I see no point. It's just arguing information. But to me, high fantasy, dark fantasy, whatever, where the switch happened in the series, I mean, I thought the fantasy themes of being like a darker, sort of grittier fantasy were still sort of the violence in the world. Now that's my own ignorance. If there's actual I didn't know, but still at the end of the day, it seemed gritty. Like Dragon Age Inquisition still seemed like gritty. I didn't know it made a transition into higher fantasy. Even from the trailers beforehand, I mean, like color wise and everything went up a bit, but I mean, yeah, I suppose so. Like, I don't know, but that's to me not knowing the term. So I guess like the overall look, everything plays a factor, like aesthetic and everything, not just the world, because I mean, it still was a war, still was gory, people still dying. So I just thought, oh, it's fantasy and it's dark, it still handles dark concepts of like world-ending beings and stuff and tears in the sky. I'm thinking that's still dark fantasy, but I get that the high fantasy is like, is it like Harry Potter at points? I don't know. Like, and then that too, is it nuanced? Because like, sorry, I know I'm yapping. This is what I do. This is my unique thing in the channel. So sorry if I yap a lot. But I'm not apologizing for that. That's just me. But I mean, sorry if it goes somewhere else, if it bothers you, my bad. But I guess like Prisoner of Azkaban was my favorite part of Harry Potter. And that felt like throughout it became pretty dark. But is the entirety of Harry Potter considered high fantasy? You see what I'm saying? I don't know. All right, let's continue. I'm getting too political about this.
BioWare have a mostly decent reputation as a game developer, and they'd been working on this thing for almost 10 years, so surely the Veilguard would turn out to be their magnum opus.
I could kiss you right now. I'm going to kiss you right now.
Oh, how wrong I was. At least according to the reviews that I've read, the gameplay footage and the excruciating cutscenes I've had to endure. As best as I can tell, the Veilguard is basically a perfect microcosm of everything that's bad in modern gaming. Tedious and simplistic combat, uninspired level design, shallow storylines, horrendous character animations, and conversations that feel more like a group therapy session for the writers than something that real people would ever say.
I'm glad the laws of fortune.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Animations and
But once I was able to be honest with myself, it was a relief to figure out I was trans.
Conversations that feel more like a group therapy session.
I don't have an issue with, like, I don't have any opinions about this sort of idea or this inclusion in games. The only time I do or have an opinion, but I don't let myself get emotionally dragged by it because I think there's better things to have an emotional tie to than stupid debates about letting people do what they want with their body and their life, whatever, as long as it doesn't step on others, is that part, the stepping on others. It has been very forced in games, and I think certain people are just coping with the fact that it hasn't, or times are changing and we just need to grow. It's like, no. It's actually I don't know if it's still going on to an intense amount because I don't pay attention to it. I stopped being aware of it, but there's still a high level of it was showing up in modern games coming out. This need to push it, which was like literally, I don't know, by the things that the dots I was connecting, call me a conspiracy theorist, was indirectly affecting storylines and character, just the overall game. It was literally affecting the overall game. And what sucks is you have the individuals like myself that don't really have a stake in the claim. We don't like be who you want to be. But if you have to enforce who you are onto people, it's almost like you have to, like, you're looking for external validation. And that's where it's like, okay, then there doesn't seem to be a lot of self-love in whatever this is. It's coming from a place that is considering something love, but it isn't truly love. Because I don't know, I just remember at a time where nobody really fought, like, in terms of, like, I don't want to talk, this deserves a whole nother video, but just what I mean is, if you want to be included into something, then forcing your way into the door isn't the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if anything has to be done by force in a way, then it's not a natural process of just accepting and learning and educating. It's more of like a, let me come in and ruin your, like, just step on your perspectives and how you live life because my like, almost like my feelings are hurt. I don't know. It's odd. There's more I could get into, but I'm not going to go too much into it here. But I'm just saying, like, there's a way of going about things where you don't have to force your perspective on others. And it's almost like there's people I've talked to who actually don't even see that much past it. It was actually, there's a quote. Let me see really quickly. Sorry again if I'm yapping more and taking long. This is actually just something I care about because, I don't know, it's a quote from somebody that most people judge because it's harder to think than it is to cast judgments. And that's what I'm saying. That's like what I've noticed a lot of people who support a lot of this happening in gaming do. They're ready to react, battle, call you every anti whatever name in the book rather than to think for a moment of how this can be connected to a bigger agenda that's actually using these individuals. Because I feel bad. I want their inclusion, but these corporations and stuff that'll switch their flags and doing all this are totally using them like it's some sort of matrix in its own. It's like, and I think some of the people in these channels, commentary channels that cover this, sometimes maybe they do consider the flip, but don't even consider that these companies aren't actually scared. Oh no, because some of them do say it's the people under the companies that are scared to not listen to, like, I guess, corporate overlords. But anyways, at the end of the day, it feels more like a group of people or groups of people getting exploited for like DEI is the exploitation. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I want there to be more inclusion. Who wouldn't want more inclusion? But there's a way of going about it where you can at least get everyone to win at the end of the day, but nobody really wants to think about it. It's more about the argument and fighting. And that's why I stay out of this shit. I really don't have an opinion. It's just like, just don't force it to the point where it ruins games. Like, let's get somebody who's trans, who's like a fucking #1 writer, who writes some of the best stories. I wouldn't mind. It's about the work at the end of the day and the product that's, you know, created. It's not about, like, don't make it a diversity hire. Like, we're hiring you just for the sake that you're black. No, like, what is your skill set? You could be trans, gay, anything. Do it. More power to you. But do you have the skill set to deliver? You know, I don't know. And I'm sure, like, fucking Baldur's Gate's team had a variety of diverse ass team. Still came out on top. So I don't know.
For the writers than something that real people would ever say.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tarsh's back.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Really?
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours. Huh. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them, too.
All right. All right. That's crazy. What I gotta say is the animations are very odd, though.
Honestly, guys, walk me through your thought process on this one. How exactly
Is this Neve? Who is this?
did you imagine a scene like this was going to go down with your average gamer who's a bit tired of modern culture and just wants some escapist entertainment in a world of fantasy and adventure? And don't get me wrong here, that's not to say you can't tackle subjects like this, it's just that it has to be handled properly. You can't just beat the player over the head with the writer's own personal angst and hang-up.
That's what I'm saying. Everything I was saying in the beginning is summed by what he just said right there. You just, like, even if you want more inclusion in movies and everything, you don't beat this shit into people. It's like, it's always existed. You guys just didn't learn. It wasn't taught. It's like, if you're reacting in if people know basic psychology, they would know that based on people's reactions to this sort of stuff, not that they're in the wrong, but they're not going about it in a proper way. And who's to really say what is the proper way? Maybe some quote unquote beating it into their heads, into people's heads to be more inclusive is slightly needed to a certain degree. I don't know. I think not, because it's like imposing your reality on people. But there's a point I was about to make about something else. Fuck, maybe it'll come back to me. Damn, I got lost because every time it comes to something like this, I just feel like I'm losing brain cells talking about it.
Why is this game so obsessed with gender and identity anyway? Oh, okay. You know, you can always tell.
But like, yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
Most replayed, everyone tried to see who this is. Corinne Bush, queer sexual gendermancer, game director of Dragon Age. The game director. Wow, followers 13337. Leet.
Oh, okay. You know, you can always tell when characters have been written by people like this because they all have a high degree of what I can best describe as acute pussification syndrome. It's like taking a regular person and carefully sanding away every rough edge to produce something as safe and unthreatening and inoffensive as possible. They all display the same blandly agreeable mannerisms, the same chirpy, non-confrontational attitude, the same weirdly desperate politeness, like they're all meeting each other for the first time at some corporate seminar. It all feels so fake and forced and soulless, like the writers are so terrified of having their characters say or do anything that might offend someone that they've basically scrubbed away every trace of personality. And it completely misses the essence of what friendships are supposed to be. There's no spark, no warmth, no fire, no humanity. Friends don't always agree with everything that you say, they don't share your opinions on every issue, and they don't just benignly nod and smile when you start demanding to be treated a certain way. Friends are supposed to be honest with each other, and that often means speaking their minds and disagreeing about stuff, and maybe
Moms, getting the Thanksgiving stuff prepared. So I'm shooting this on Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to anyone watching.
Be ultimately finding some common grounds. They also tend to make fun of each other, especially men, and that is not a bad thing. It's an important sign that they feel comfortable enough to share that kind of easygoing banter and honesty. If your so-called group of friends all treat you with kid gloves and are super polite and agreeable whenever you're around, then you should be on your guard because it's a sure sign they either don't like or don't trust you. Scenes like this.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I knew this, but I said ooh like that because, I mean, it's just a gem that a lot of people miss. And there's actually, I wouldn't say there's, no, I wouldn't say that because, but like, there's just a lot of people that really need to learn that. Like, really need to learn that, dude.
This and so many others I've seen from this game feel more like a group role-playing session at a company getaway, where everyone's trying to act funny and natural, but desperately hoping not to say or do anything controversial that will get them in trouble. It's the same story with the supposedly romantic moments, like this scene that made me cringe so hard my spinal column practically separated from my body.
Fuck.
I could kiss you right now. I'm going to kiss you right now.
Really?
Here's a pro tip, ladies and gentlemen. Announcing that you're about to kiss someone right before doing it is possibly the single biggest turn-off a human being can experience, especially when it's delivered in a tone of voice that doesn't contain a single atom of romantic passion or physical attraction. This is a first kiss written by people that have never kissed another adult human being in their entire lives. It's romance if it were conceived by a corporate HR consultant, and it's so goddamn soul-destroying to think this is how humans are supposed to get on with each other. This is how you think friends act around each other? This is how you think men and women hook up? This is the most feminine you think a female body can look? All of this awkward, preachy, ham-fisted nonsense just plays into the growing backlash against games that incorporate anything even resembling progressive themes and ideas, and that's a real shame because there's so much potential for great storytelling there if only it could be properly realised. Gamers aren't as ignorant and close-minded as you might think, but they care deeply about their hobby and they're very aware of anyone who would try to use it as a platform for the message. And maybe that's a lesson that BioWare are about to learn the hard way. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Sick. I mean, Critical Drinker is spitting. What else can I say? I feel like we all share the same sentiments about everything that has gone on with DEI and everything, and it just sums up to one simple thing. If it's handled properly, like I'm saying, if the inclusion stuff is handled in a proper manner, who could complain? Okay, I started kind of rambling at the end. I'm just gonna leave it at where I was leaving it and say much love in Moonlight. At the end of the day, if you just go about it right, including all this stuff in the game, it could really be beautiful. I started to talk about when Critical Drinker talked about escapism, just wanting a good form of escapism. It's like, yeah, most people that just work and want to stay out of the way of all this stuff and kind of get away from the world don't want to see it in their games as well. So it's weird to not only want to force this stuff down people's throats, but then take an IP, right? Take a very popular game series and inject it in the next installment of it. That's why my hopes are not high for the next Borderlands. Not at all. Not at all. Unless there was some insane level marketing that is just puts, like, you know, with the movie bombing, that it just puts the game into a different field of its own. But I just Baldur's Gate raised the bar. I don't know, man. Baldur's Gate still had its things that people found, but to me, that I knew that was going to get Game of the Year. You know, with what I see with these games, certain things in them that I'm just like, nah, there's just no way. And as soon as the name changed from Dreadwolf to Veilguard, I sort of assumed, oh, yeah, it's the beginning of the end for this game. So anyways, much love in Moonlight. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.